Close your eyes if you like, or leave them open, soft and unfocused. Let's drift together across time, across temples and sleeping mats, across clay tablets and half-forgotten scrolls. 'Cause long before Freud, long before dream dictionaries and airport bookstores, people looked up at the night sky and wondered what their dreams meant. We follow them. Welcome to another sleepy story of ancient life. You close your eyes beneath a sky older than memory, wrapped in a thin blanket, your body sinking into woven mats and cracked stone floors. The night air is cool, perfumed with wood smoke and faint hints of cumin. Somewhere nearby, a dog barks once, sharply, and then all falls quiet except for the breathing of others' family neighbors. Strangers who share your roof because houses, like dreams, are crowded and strange. And in the dark, with the fire reduced to its last shy embers, you feel it coming. That slow, inescapable slide into sleep. You wonder, as your mind drifts, what the gods might whisper to you tonight. Because here in ancient Mesopotamia, or maybe Egypt or Greece, or the dusty hills of Anatolia, dreams are not accidents of digestion, nor random static in the brain. Dreams are messages. And you, wrapped in your rough blanket, are their messenger, or their victim. Or perhaps, if you're lucky, their interpreter. You dream of rivers. You dream of lions. You dream of your neighbor's goat, which escaped 3 days ago and has yet to be found. And when you wake, you will puzzle over it. Did the goat symbolize your lost fortunes? Or was it merely a goat? But that is for the morning. Now, you drift. In this ancient world, dreams come from many places. Some are sent by the gods, kind or cruel, loud or silent. They slip into your mind like thieves or healers. And some are simply echoes of your own soul, churning like silt in the river. The priests say to pay attention. The temple scribes keep thick tablets filled with the dreams of kings and farmers alike. There are patterns to find, they insist. If you dream of eating honey, joy is coming. If you dream of drowning, beware. Illness or sadness waits just beyond tomorrow. If you dream of falling, well, that's never a good sign. Not in any century. But you, tonight, have no priest to consult. You are neither king nor high priestess, just another person trying to make sense of the nighttime's riddles. You have your grandmother's advice, though, she always said. If you dream of a black dog, give an offering of bread the next day. If you dream of your own shadow walking without you, stay indoors until sundown. Practical advice, even if it feels like superstition. In your little village, people whisper about dreams in the morning market. Beneath the shade of date palms, as you trade barley and salted fish, someone says, "I dreamt of fire last night." Another replies, "Quick, wash your hands in the river before sunset." Advice, passed down like recipes or lullabies, softened by repetition. No one claims to understand dreams fully. But no one dares ignore them either. So tonight, as your body softens and your thoughts dissolve, you let go. You float into the darkness. Your first dream comes gently. You're walking through a field of wheat, but the wheat speaks your name. Each stalk whispers softly as though carried by the breeze. Listen, listen, listen. You kneel and place your ear to the earth, expecting to hear the gods themselves, but instead, you hear your sister laughing. A laugh from childhood? From years ago when you both ran barefoot along the river? Then the dream shifts, as dreams do, without warning. Now, you are in a temple. The air smells of incense and damp stone. A figure approaches tall, faceless, draped in linen. They hand you a scroll. You try to open it, but the scroll turns to dust in your fingers. You wake with a start. What does it mean? You lie still, waiting for your heart to slow. Hey. In the quiet, you wonder, was this a warning, a memory, or a trick of your stomach's hunger? If you lived in Babylon, you might carry your dream to the temple of Marduk, where a dream interpreter would write it down on a clay tablet. Rolling the stylus carefully over wet earth, categorizing your visions alongside 1,000 others. Or perhaps, if you were Egyptian, you'd wait until the morning and consult your personal dream book. Its fragile papyrus pages, crinkled with the weight of centuries. Dream of a cat? Good fortune? Dream of drowning? Danger ahead? Dream of a faceless man offering a scroll? You'd flip through the pages, hoping for an answer. But here, in your little home, you can only wait for the day to unfold. Perhaps the gods will explain themselves through your morning's luck. Maybe your neighbor will return your lost sandals, and all will be well. Or maybe the baker's oven will burn and smoke will fill the streets, and you will remember your dream of fire and wheat and faceless strangers. Life has a way of answering dreams and riddles after all. Outside, the night deepens. The stars blink overhead, ancient and indifferent. Yes, they too have seen countless sleepers dream and wake and dream again. You roll onto your side and let yourself drift back down. There are more dreams waiting, always more. And so, the night continues. Morning creeps in quietly, as it always does. There are no alarms, no clocks, no blinking digital reminders telling you to wake. Only the soft rustling of birds, the distant clatter of merchants setting up their stalls, and the light fingering its way across the cracks in your wall. You stretch beneath your rough blanket, bones creaking like the ancient timbers of the temple gates. The dream still lingers faint as mist, stubborn as a pebble in your sandal. You sit for a while, legs crossed, elbows on knees, staring at the dust motes swirling in a sunbeam. Then you rise, because if a dream is important, tanned, how could it not be, when it fills your chest like thunderclouds? Then someone must help you understand it. So you go to the temple. It is not far. Just past the olive grove, beyond the cracked stone road, where stray dogs nose through discarded figs. The temple rises from the earth like a story half told, its columns worn smooth by centuries of hands, wind, and prayer. You climb the steps slowly, sandals scuffing stone, heart beating a little too fast for such an ordinary morning. Inside, it is cool and dim, lit only by shafts of light falling through high windows. Incense coils in the air, spicy and sharp, making your nose twitch. You pass figures bowed in prayer, heads lowered, lips moving in silent petitions. Some pray for rain, some for children, some for peace with their neighbors, whose goats, frankly, have been an ongoing problem. And then you find her, the interpreter. She sits beside a stack of clay tablets, her fingers stained with ink and dust. Her eyes, sharp as a hawk's, glance up at you. Without speaking, she gestures for you to sit. This is not unusual. People come every day with their tangled nighttime visions, spilling their stories like cracked jars at her feet. You tell her everything, slowly, carefully. You describe the wheat that whispered your name, the faceless figure in linen, the scroll that turned to dust. You leave nothing out, not even your sister's laugh, fragile and out of place in such a dream. She listens. Occasionally she hums a small thoughtful sound like a bee deciding where to land. When you finish, she leans back. Her robes rustle. She taps one long finger against her chin and says, "Ah!" And then, the wheat that speaks is your soul, restless for answers. The faceless figure is a messenger, neither friend nor enemy. The scroll turning to dust means you are not yet ready to know the truth. You blink. You nod. Of course, this explains everything or nothing. As with most ancient wisdom, it both comforts and confuses you. She smiles faintly, not unkindly. She has seen this before. She will see it again. Then she offers you advice, as interpreters do. Go to the river this evening. Wash your hands and feet. Leave a small offering, perhaps bread or figs. Speak your dream aloud beneath the stars. If the gods wish, they will hear you. If not, at least your feet will be clean. It's a fair trade, you suppose. You thank her and leave a coin on the worn stone beside her. She does not glance at it. Instead, she is already unrolling another tablet, preparing to write down your dream, because dreams must be recorded. This is what the scribes say. Across Mesopotamia, they have kept dream books for centuries, thick clay tablets etched with thousands of dreams and their meanings. Some are grand. Kings dreaming of rivers running backward, of lions speaking prophecies. Others are simple. A farmer dreaming of broken sandals, a potter dreaming of falling stars. In these tablets, the world of night is catalogued like a library. Dream of eating figs, prosperity is coming. Dream of losing your teeth, trouble awaits. Dream of flying, the gods may be lifting you, or perhaps it was just too much wine. The scribes write it all down, generation after generation. And in 1,000 years, someone else will read these dreams, wondering what kind of people dreamed of talking wheat and faceless strangers. but you are not thinking of the future as you step outside into the morning light. The sun is warm, the air already thick with the scents of baking bread and sun-warmed stone. Life continues. People laugh, argue, barter, and carry heavy baskets filled with garlic and lentils. You pass them by, dreams still clinging to your shoulders like an invisible cloak. Tonight, perhaps you will follow her advice. You will walk to the river, wash your hands and feet. Whisper your dreams to the stars, unsure if anyone is listening. But for now, there is work to do. Fields to tend. Firewood to gather. Maybe even your neighbor's goat to rescue, still missing, still causing trouble. The dream can wait until evening. But it will be there, waiting for you. Because in the ancient world, dreams are not fleeting shadows. They are threads woven into the fabric of life itself. Ignore it at your peril. And so, the day stretches ahead, sun climbing higher, shadows shrinking. But somewhere in the back of your mind, the whisper of wheat still calls your name. The thing about kings is this: they dream just like you do. They too toss and turn beneath linen sheets, their brows furrowed, their hands clutching at the empty air. They too wake in the darkness, heart pounding, staring into the void beyond the palace ceiling, wondering if the gods have cursed them more, warned them more, merely played a small celestial prank. But when a king dreams, it is not just a private riddle to untangle before breakfast. It is an omen, a warning, a prophecy that might shape the fates of armies and cities, crops and empires. And so, you can imagine the urgency when the palace servants wake you before dawn. "You dream, interpreter," they whisper, pulling you from your mat, still half asleep and rubbing your eyes. "The king has dreamed, and he is not pleased." You sigh. Of course he's not. Kings rarely dream of flowers and feasts. They dream of collapsing towers, bleeding moons, rivers running red, and lions gnawing on their thrones. They dream big, as kings do. So, you follow the servants through shadowy corridors, your sandals slapping against cool stone. Oil lamps sputter on the walls, casting crooked shadows that seem to follow you. At last, you are brought before him. There he sits, upon a raised dais, robes pooling like spilled wine around his feet. His face is grim. His advisors hover nearby, silent and stiff as statues. He clears his throat and says, in a voice that fills the room, "I have dreamed, and I am troubled." You bow low, trying not to yawn. "Speak, my lord," you say gently. "Tell me what you have seen." And so, he does. He speaks of a giant tree, taller than the sky, whose branches sheltered beasts and birds alike. But suddenly a great axe fell from the heavens, cutting it down. The birds scattered, the animals fled, and the land beneath turned to dust. You listen, nodding slowly, your mind flipping through the pages of your memory, searching for meaning. This is familiar. The image of a tree, ... Yes. It is the kingdom, his kingdom. "The tree, my lord," you say softly, "is your rule, vast and sheltering. The axe is a warning from the gods. Change your ways or your power will fall and your people will scatter." The room holds its breath. The king leans back, stroking his beard, his eyes distant and stormy. He does not speak. He does not have to. Your job is done. The dream has been named, and now it is his burden to carry. But you leave with a little smile tucked away in your sleeve, because kings, for all their power, fear dreams the most. They rule armies and build palaces, but they cannot control the quiet voice that speaks when their eyes are closed. Back in your little home, you sip thin beer and nibble on flatbread, thinking of the day's events. The king's dream will become a story passed through streets and markets, embroidered with rumors and exaggerations. "Did you hear?" someone will say over the clatter of pottery. "The king dreamt of a falling tree. I heard it means war." "No, no," another will reply. "It means the tax collectors will be less cruel this season." And a third will chuckle, shaking his head. "It means the king ate too much goat stew before bed." Everyone has an interpretation. But deep down you know, dreams mean what we fear they mean. And so the king will build new temples and offer fattened calves to the gods, hoping to stave off whatever doom he has dreamed. And maybe it will work. Or maybe the axe is already falling, unseen, inevitable. But that is the burden of kings. You meanwhile still have to mend your roof before the rainy season, and feed the chickens. They dream too, perhaps. Though what chickens dream of, no one bothers to ask. The night will come again soon. And when it does, who knows what visions might wait for you? Maybe another whispering field of wheat. Maybe a river of stars. Maybe something entirely ordinary like a dream where you can't find your sandals before market day. Which honestly feels more terrifying than most prophecies. The ancient world is full of dreams, but not always full of answers. So you let the king worry about omens and fate. You, for now, will live your little life, watching the sky, listening to the wind, and waiting for the night to fall once more. Because there is something oddly comforting in knowing that, whether you are a ruler of empires or a seller of onions, you still close your eyes the same way. And when you do, the dreams will come, uninvited but inevitable, flicker behind your eyelids. A whisper in your sleep, a secret waiting to be told. It's a quiet afternoon, the kind of afternoon when the sun hangs low and lazy in the sky, and even the flies seem too tired to bother you. You sit beneath a crooked fig tree, picking at your lunch bread so tough it might double as a roof tile, and cheese that smells suspiciously like your neighbor's socks. And as you chew slowly, your thoughts drift back to dreams. You are not alone in your fascination. Long before you were born, and long after you are gone, people will wonder about the world of sleep. Across the deserts of Egypt, across the rivers of Mesopotamia, across the jagged hills of Greece, they wrote their dreams down. Because if a dream is important enough to wake you in a sweat, surely it is important enough to be written in a book. The Egyptians, of course, had a book for everything. A book for how to build a pyramid. A book for how to properly embalm your aunt. And yes, a book for dreams. In your mind's eye, you picture the ancient scribes, hunched over fragile scrolls of papyrus. Their reed pens, scratching away by oil lamplight. They write carefully, reverently, not hurried, not casual, because these words matter. You've heard whispers about such books. They call it the Ramesside Dream Book, or sometimes just the Book of Dreams. It sits locked away in the temple library, guarded by stern priests and the occasional stray cat. In it, dreams are listed like recipes. Dream of losing your hair, it means long life. Dream of catching a giant fish, good fortune, unless the fish bites you, in which case, well, perhaps buy a smaller boat. And the most curious part, every dream comes with a label. Good or bad. Simple, efficient, comforting in its way. If only your own dreams came with such labels stamped on your forehead each morning. Wheat fields and faceless strangers, ambiguous, goats speaking in riddles, probably bad. Flying over the marketplace without your sandals, very bad and slightly embarrassing. But life rarely offers such clarity. And so, you imagine yourself one day slipping into the temple archives, parchment in hand, and scribbling down your own dreams beside those of long-forgotten scribes. I dreamt I was a river, you'd write, flowing backward. No one noticed. And beside it, you'd scrawl in shaky letters. Good, bad, who can say? Because that is the truth, isn't it? For all the books and scrolls, for all the priests and interpreters, no one really knows. But they try. They try because dreams are too strange, too powerful, too persistent to ignore. In some places they even believe the dead visit you through your dreams. Ancestors with unfinished business, old friends with quiet warnings, enemies with smug grins. Oh. You once heard of a man who dreamt of his grandfather, standing at the foot of his bed, frowning deeply and tapping his foot. The man woke and immediately paid off his debts, fearing his grandfather's disapproval stretched beyond the grave. And perhaps it did. In the ancient world, the veil between life and death was thin. Like the linen curtains that separate rooms in a poor man's house, dreams were where the two sides brushed fingers. So you wonder, beneath your fig tree, has anyone dreamed of you yet? Will someone dream of you when you're gone, sitting beneath this very tree, chewing tough bread and squinting at the sky? And if they do, what message will you bring them? Water your olive trees more often, perhaps, or tell your sister to return my sandals. Yes, that feels about right. You finish your lunch, brushing crumbs from your lap, and feel the weight of countless dreamers before you. Farmers, soldiers, queens, and children, all closing their eyes and slipping into that strange, quiet world beyond reason. They left their mark in clay tablets, in crumbling scrolls, in fading whispers, passed from mouth to ear, in smoky taverns and dusty temples. And you ordinary mortal, small as a speck in the grand turning of time, you are part of that same story. Tonight, when the stars blink awake one by one, you will dream again. And tomorrow, perhaps you will tell someone, or perhaps you will keep it to yourself, letting the dream sit quietly in your chest like a sleeping bird. Because not every dream needs an audience. Some are just for you. And that too is enough. So you rise, brushing fig leaves from your tunic, and step back onto the sun-warmed path leading home. The sky stretches wide above you, ancient and patient. And somewhere, far beyond sight, the scribes are still writing. Some dreams don't come to you at home. Some dreams you must go out and find. And so, on a night when the moon hangs thin and sharp as a sickle, you take the long road out of your village past the fig trees and sleeping goats, past the fields where shadows stretch like curious fingers, until you reach the temple of healing. This is no ordinary temple. This is a place where dreams are born on purpose. They call it incubation. No, not like eggs beneath a chicken's warm belly, though the process is not so different in a way. You lie down and wait, and something stirs to life in the dark. In Greece, they have Asclepius, god of healing. Here, in this stone temple, surrounded by cool columns and the scent of laurel, they say his presence can slip into your dreams, bringing visions of cures and remedies, instructions and warnings. You've heard the stories. A woman with aching joints dreams of snakes coiling around her arms, and when she wakes, her pain has gone. A man troubled by headaches dreams of drinking cool water from a sacred spring, and in the morning he does just that and feels renewed. So tonight you have come, not because you are ill exactly, but because your soul feels tangled and restless. Because the dreams you've had lately whispering wheat, faceless strangers won't leave you alone. You wash your feet at the temple gate, leaving your dust and doubts at the threshold. You lay a humble offering of honey and bread on the altar. You speak your quiet prayer into the empty air. Show me what I need to see, even if I do not like the answer. The temple attendants nod silently and lead you to a quiet place to lie down. The floor is cool beneath your back. The stone ceiling high above disappears into darkness. You fold your arms across your chest and close your eyes. You wait. At first, nothing happens. Only the usual tumble of thoughts. Did I remember to feed the chickens? Will the market still have fresh olives tomorrow? Why do my sandals always rub my left heel raw? But then, slowly, the temple breathes around you. A hush deeper than sleep. A stillness older than stone. And the dream comes. You find yourself standing at the edge of a wide river. The water glows faintly, silver and silent. Across the river, a figure stands, cloaked, featureless, distant. They raise one hand and point. You follow their gesture. And there, rising from the earth, is a small plant. Humble, green, unnoticed by the world. You kneel beside it, pluck a single leaf, smell its sharp, bitter scent. And when you look up again, the figure is gone. You wake to the cool dawn light filtering through the temple columns. The birds sing as if they have always been singing. Was it real? The attendants bring you water and fruit. They ask no questions. They expect no explanations. You leave a small coin on the altar and step back into the morning. The road home feels shorter, as if your feet remember the way better than your mind does. You pass the same goats, the same fig trees, the same sun climbing lazily across the sky. And yet something feels different. Perhaps tomorrow you will wander the hills until you find that little green plant from your dream. Or perhaps it only lives in the land of sleep. But either way, the dream was yours. A gift or a puzzle. A whisper in the night. That evening, back home, someone asks where you've been. You smile and say, sleeping. And it's true. But it was not the kind of sleep where you forget the world. It was the kind where the world remembers you. And now, as you wash your hands in the river, the silver light of dusk spilling across the water, you wonder what dream waits for you next. Because dreams in the ancient world are not accidents. They are invitations. Sometimes from the gods. Sometimes from your own restless heart. Sometimes from somewhere else entirely. Always waiting for you to close your eyes, quiet your thoughts, and listen. Not every dreamer is a king. Not every dream arrives wrapped in divine thunder or temple bells. Most of the time, it is simpler than that. It is a farmer dreaming of rain, a mother dreaming of her lost child's smile, a weaver dreaming of tangled threads coming loose beneath patient fingers. And most nights, you are one of them. You are no oracle, no priest. Just an ordinary soul who sleeps when the body tires and dreams when the mind refuses to sit still. Tonight, you settle onto your worn mat, the smell of cooking fires fading into the cool evening breeze. You've spent the day repairing a cracked pot and trying unsuccessfully to convince your neighbor that yes, it really was his goat that ate your garden. Life is small and busy and full of little troubles, but when your eyes close, the world stretches wide. You dream of walking barefoot down an endless road lined with doors. Behind some doors, you hear laughter. Behind others, silence. One door creaks open slowly, and you see a tiny version of yourself, sitting cross-legged, humming a tune you've never heard before but somehow know by heart. What does it mean? You smile softly in your sleep, because honestly, does it have to mean anything? In the morning, you won't write your dream on a clay tablet. You won't bring it to a priest or recite it at the market. You'll stretch, rub your eyes, and begin your day the way you always do, chasing chickens and sweeping dust and looking up at the sky to guess whether it will rain. But the dream will stay with you, tucked into the quiet corners of your mind like a folded letter. And later, while kneading dough or mending a tunic, you'll pause. You'll hum that strange tune from your dream, and it will feel like a secret only you carry. This, too, is part of the ancient world. Because for every grand dream recorded in a king's archive, 1,000 more are lived quietly and forgotten by history. But they mattered to the dreamers, and that is enough. In the streets of the city, you pass countless faces, each carrying their own nighttime stories. The baker who dreamt of an oven overflowing with birds, the fisherman who dreamt of nets that pulled up silver moons instead of fish. No one writes these down, but they are part of life, woven into the morning gossip and the afternoon silences, like threads in an old familiar cloth. Even the animals dream, you think, watching a stray dog twitch in its sleep, paws paddling as though chasing some invisible quarry. What does a dog dream of? Bones, perhaps? Or the wide-open hills where no one ties you to a rope? It comforts you somehow to know that dreaming is not reserved for the powerful. It belongs to all who sleep. Perhaps that is what makes it sacred. You remember your grandmother telling you stories by the fire, how she dreamt of her long-dead sister, who smiled and told her where to find wild thyme growing on the hillside. And when she went looking, there it was. Coincidence, maybe? Or a gift from beyond the veil? Either way, the thyme made excellent soup. So tonight, when you close your eyes once more, you do not pray for a prophetic vision, nor a message carved in thunder. You hope for something small. A dream where the road is soft beneath your feet. A dream where you laugh without reason. A dream where, just for a little while, everything makes sense. And if by morning the dream slips away like smoke through your fingers, that is all right too. Some dreams are meant to be remembered. Some are meant only to be lived for a little while in the dark. So you turn onto your side, pull your thin blanket close, and let the night carry you away again. Out there, beyond your thoughts, the dreams are waiting. Not just for kings, not just for priests, but for you. The thing about dreams is this: where there is mystery, there are merchants. And so it is in your world. In the dusty corners of the marketplace, between the spice sellers and the basket weavers, sit the dream interpreters who didn't quite make it into the temples. They are not priests. They are not scribes. They are entrepreneurs in their own creative way. You pass them sometimes on your way to buy lentils. Shh. Tell me your dream, one man calls out, his voice smooth as pressed olive oil, and I shall tell you your future. 1 copper coin, 2 for complicated dreams. Beside him, a woman with coal-lined eyes shakes a pouch filled with polished stones. Dream dice, she says, winking. Cast them and reveal your fate. Further along, a toothless old man waves a bundle of herbs beneath your nose. Dream clearer, he claims. Boil these leaves before sleep, and your visions will shine like the morning sun. Guaranteed clarity, or your next dream is free. You smile politely and keep walking. It's not that you don't believe them. Well, perhaps you don't, but who's to say? Maybe their coins and herbs and polished stones really do part the curtains of the sleeping mind. Or maybe they simply offer comfort. And in a world where life is unpredictable and the gods speak in riddles, comfort is worth a coin or two. Once curiosity gets the better of you, you stop at a dusty stall draped in faded cloth, where a woman with wild hair invites you to sit. And so you do. You tell her about the fields of wheat, about the silent figure, about the scroll that crumbled to dust. She listens, nodding, her fingers drumming on the worn table. Then, with a theatrical flourish, she declares, "You are at a crossroads. Your destiny splits in two. One path holds prosperity, the other, disappointment. Choose wisely." You blink. You try not to laugh. Isn't that always the way? Still you thank her and leave a small coin on the table. It's not because her answer helped, but because for a moment it felt good to be heard. And that is what these dream merchants sell more than anything else. The comfort of being listened to. In the evenings, you sit by the well, watching others tell their dreams in low voices. A young man speaks of endless ladders. An old woman recalls a lion sleeping at her feet. And the dream merchants, with their smiles and frowns, their knowing nods and dramatic sighs, offer interpretations in exchange for whatever small coins or figs people can spare. You wonder if they believe in their own words. Or if they, too, lie awake at night, puzzled by their own dreams, with no one left to explain them. Dreams have always been part theater, part truth. A little mystery, a little performance. And sometimes you just need someone to say, "Ah, yes, I've heard of such a dream before." You are not alone. That, in itself, feels like magic. So you walk home as the market shutters close and the air cools. The moon rises above the rooftops, pale and watchful. You think about all the people in the world, closing their eyes beneath the same stars. Kings and farmers. Merchants and beggars. Lovers and widows. All slipping into sleep, leaving behind their worries and sandals for the night. Waiting to see what strange story the darkness will tell them next. And whether or not they pay a coin to have it explained, the dream will still come, soft as a whisper, bold as thunder, or quiet as the beating of your own tired heart. And in the morning, you'll wake, stretch your arms, and step back into the ordinary world, perhaps a little lighter, perhaps still puzzled, but always human, always dreaming. But not all dreams are gentle. Some slip into your sleep like thieves, silent, cold, uninvited. And when they come, you wake with your heart pounding, your mouth dry, and your thoughts tangled in fear you cannot quite name. It happens to everyone, even here in the ancient world where dreams are supposed to be divine messages or quiet prophecies. Even the wise priestess who reads the stars. Even the old shepherd who has seen more moons than he can count. Even you, it might be the dream where you fall, endlessly, into a pit that never hits bottom. It might be the dream where your home burns and no water will put out the flames. Or the one where your loved ones turn away from you, silent, their faces blank as stone. You wake in the dark, alone with your fear. And in the quiet of your little room, you wonder, was this a warning? A punishment? A restless mind chasing shadows? In your village, there are ways to chase bad dreams away. A charm hung by the door, a whispered prayer before sleep, a bowl of clean water set beside your bed to catch the wandering spirits of the night. Your grandmother used to tell you, half serious, half teasing, that bad dreams come when you forget to thank the gods for your supper. So tonight, you whisper a soft thank you as you close your eyes again. But still, your mind worries at the edge of the dream like a dog with a bone. The ancients believed nightmares had causes, logical in their own ancient way. Sometimes they blamed demons, restless creatures slipping through the cracks of the night. The Babylonians feared Lelitu, a spirit who crept into bedrooms and tangled dreams into knots. The Egyptians blamed wandering spirits, or perhaps the discontented dead who hadn't been properly honored. Sometimes it was something simpler. Bad bread, spoiled wine, restless stomach complaining as you slept. Even back then, people knew the body and the mind are tangled together like grapevines. If you went to the temple in the morning, the priest might offer you a ritual to cleanse your spirit. A small sacrifice, a sprinkling of water, a chant sung at sunrise, and whether or not it worked, you would feel lighter, Because ritual, like dreaming, is a way of making sense of what you cannot control. You think of this as you sit on your doorstep before dawn, watching the first faint light of morning spill over the hills. The nightmare is already slipping away, leaving only the memory of fear. It's strange, isn't it? How something so vivid, so terrifying in the night, becomes fragile and almost silly in the morning light, like a shadow shrinking beneath the sun. And yet, tonight, it might return, the next night, because nightmares are part of dreaming too. Not every message from beyond is kind. Not every vision brings comfort. But even the dark dreams remind you that you are alive, that your heart still beats, stubborn and hopeful, that you can wake, breathe, and begin again. So you stand, stretch your arms, and smile just a little. Today you'll stop by the temple and light a small oil lamp, because you think it will banish your bad dreams forever, because it feels like the right thing to do. And you'll tell your friend in the market about your nightmare, laughing as you do, making it smaller with every word. And maybe tonight your dreams will be gentler, maybe not. But either way, the world will keep spinning, and you will keep dreaming, because that's what people do. Even in ancient times, even now, they sleep, they dream, they wake, they try again. One day, the dream that finds you will be your last. But tonight is not that night. Still, you have heard the stories whispered beside cooking fires and in the shadows of temple walls. How, the final days of life, people's dreams shift. They say the old dream differently. Not of wheat fields and faceless strangers, but of rivers crossed and doors opened, of voices calling from beyond the hills, soft and familiar. You think of your grandfather, who in his last week smiled in his sleep. When asked what he dreamt of, he spoke of walking hand in hand with his brother long dead, through a garden where the figs never spoiled and the water never ran dry. There was no fear in his voice when he spoke of it, only a quiet certainty. In the ancient world, such dreams were not dismissed. They were seen as signs, gentle guides pointing the way forward. Death was not an end, but a crossing. A journey from one kind of life to another, and dreams were the map. The Egyptians believed that the dead passed through the duat, the underworld, guided by spells and visions. Maybe your dreams in life were little rehearsals, practice for the paths your soul would someday walk. The Greeks spoke of the river Lethe, where you might drink and forget your past life, or of the Elysian fields, a place of peace and rest for those who had lived well. In Mesopotamia, they imagined the land of the dead as a dusty, quiet place where spirits lingered in shadows, still bound to the world they had left behind. But always, dreams were the bridge between this world and the next. And so, as you sit beneath the stars, legs tucked beneath you, you wonder when your time comes, what will your final dream be? Will it be a field of wheat, whispering your name one last time, or a quiet river, cool and silver, waiting for you to step across? Will you meet the gods, or your ancestors, or simply an older version of yourself smiling at all the things you worried about needlessly? For now it is enough to wonder. You look at your hands, work-worn, sun-darkened, still very much alive. There are chickens to feed, bread to bake, jokes to tell, arguments to have with your neighbor about his perpetually escaping goat. Life continues until it doesn't, and until that day, dreams will keep finding you in the night, asking questions and offering riddles, sometimes frightening, sometimes comforting, but always reminding you that there is more to life than waking hours. Perhaps that is why the old smile in their sleep. They know something the rest of us are still trying to understand, that dreams are not separate from life. They are stitched into it, thread by thread. And when we finally step beyond this world, it will feel perhaps like falling asleep after a long day of work. Soft, familiar, quiet, and who knows? Maybe you will wake again somewhere else, shaking your head at how seriously you once took it all. But for now, the night is young, and your eyes are heavy. You pull your blanket over your shoulders, feeling the cool breeze drift across your face. And as you close your eyes, you smile just a little, wondering what story tonight will bring. And so you dream night after night. And others dream too. They dreamed before you, and they will dream long after your footprints fade from the dust of the earth. The faces change, the languages change, but the dreams, they remain. You are one drop in a long river of dreamers, stretching back through centuries of kings and merchants, shepherds and slaves, mothers and soldiers, scribes and thieves. Somewhere long ago, a Babylonian farmer once woke from a restless night, rubbing his eyes and wondering what it meant to dream of a lion sitting in his wheat field. A Greek philosopher paced beneath the moon, debating whether his dreams were messages from the gods or just echoes of yesterday's wine. An Egyptian scribe carefully inked his vision onto papyrus, a great winged beetle rolling the sun across the sky. All of them searching, like you, for meaning in the dark. And across the world, far beyond your small village, people you will never meet are dreaming at this very moment. A sailor on a quiet sea, dreaming of home. A child in the mountains, dreaming of flying with the cranes. An old woman in the desert, dreaming of the rains that will never come. You are connected to them thread by invisible thread. The dream world is not bound by walls or borders, flows freely like wind through the olive trees, like whispers across the temple stones. And maybe, just maybe, the dream you dream tonight will find its way into someone else's sleep tomorrow. You smile at the thought. Because in the end, what are dreams but stories waiting to be told? Some will fade by morning, slipping away before your first yawn. Some will linger, clinging to your thoughts as you walk to the market. A rare few will stay with you always, quiet companions as you grow older, as your hair turns silver, as your steps slow but your mind still wanders. Perhaps one day you will tell your grandchildren of the wheat fields that whispered your name, and they will laugh and shake their heads, and later that night they too will dream of golden stalks swaying beneath an endless sky. The story continues, and that, perhaps, is enough. So tonight, like every night, you lie down on your humble mat. The air is cool, the stars are kind, and the world hums softly beyond your walls. You close your eyes. And for a moment, just a moment, you are not a farmer, or a merchant, or a dream interpreter. You are simply a soul wandering the quiet, timeless fields of night. And as you drift into sleep, you smile, because you know the dreams will find you, as they always have, as they always will. Soft as a sigh. Strange as a story, endless as the stars. Good night, dreamer.